All right, let's
Hello.
go, Alex. How are you doing?
Doing great. Welcome, everybody. We're chatting MCP today. So, welcome to the Mother Duck channel. And we're happy you're here. So, I want to talk today a bit about what does it feel like to use AI in the data world and really think about how can we take advantage of an MCP to really play around with our data and get some deep understanding of it without writing 10,000 SQL queries all by hand, all ourselves. First, we'll say a quick hi. Howdy, I'm Alex. I'm a recovering data scientist. I spent 9 years at Intel in the supply chain world. So I'm really excited that today we're focused on a supply chain data set. So really definitely near and dear to my heart. I've stared at many millions of rows of this shape and size before. And so happy to look at it with AI today. And then here at Mother Duck, I'm a developer advocate. And you bet, I'll pass it over to you, Jacob.
Amazing. Thanks, Alex. Yes, I'm super excited to look at this too, as someone who also worked a little bit on supply chain. I ran the business systems team at a toy company that some of you may be aware of called Funko in the run up to going public, which was very fun journey. And so I have lots of fun with tracking things like on time, in full, and other supply chain goodness and doing all the optimization and linear algebra to make that all work. So I'm excited to see how much of this we can defer to AI. And Alex, why don't you show us how easy it is to kind of get this all configured so we can start using it?
You bet. All right.
I'll throw you on the stage here. Is that right?
Wonderful. You bet. So today we're using Claude, although we'll point you to our docs if you're using another AI tool. So the Mother Duck MCP is remotely hosted. So there's no local setup that you need to do at all. It's just operating on the Mother Duck side, and we're hosting it on your behalf. So to add it is as easy as going to your Claude settings, and you're headed to connectors. Once you get to connectors, we are in the Claude marketplace. So if you go to browse connectors and search for data warehouse, you will find Mother Duck. And all you need to do is add that in, and you will have the MCP fully operational. So MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It's a way to have a web endpoint to where your AI can talk to it and gain skills that aren't easy to do for an LLM. And so this server on our side that we're hosting for you allows you to get insights directly about your data set, because LLMs by default don't know anything about your data, especially your private data. If it couldn't have been trained on it in the public internet, it would have no knowledge. But now we can give that knowledge to the model.
Absolutely.
So that's all you need to get started. I did already set that up on my side, so it really is, a couple clicks there, and you're good to go. If you wanted to do this with a different setup, if you head to our docs and go to our SQL reference and our MCP, you'll be able to go ahead and set it up with a variety of different tools: Claude Code, ChatGPT, Cursor, as well as others. So MCP is an industry standard now, which is great. So you can use it with whichever AI tool you'd like. And if you're here, follow along. See if you can get it set up and get it going. We've got a free Mother Duck account. You can hop right in, or a free trial, and then you could hook this up pretty quick. Sweet. So wanted to quickly touch on what is our data set and where we're getting it from, but then very quickly, we're going to go explore it with MCP. So to load this data set, this is the Mother Duck UI. I just did a couple of SQL statements. So this is our SQL notebook interface, and I created a database to hold this data. And I said, hey, let's focus on that database. And I created a table called shipments, and that's what we're going to be exploring. It's a single table data set, and I got it from Hugging Face. And you can see it's as easy as selecting from a URL that ends in .parquet here, and we can just go out to where Hugging Face is storing your data or public data and grab it and load it into Mother Duck. And that works for all kinds of different spots where your data can live. It can be S3, Google Cloud, Azure, or any file in GitHub, a lot of different things. And then from there, I'm just selecting that data. And I'll just run it. It takes about 10 seconds or so to pull that in. And it's about 180,000 rows, and we will explore it a lot more with AI. You can see, though, that within the Mother Duck UI, we do have some exploratory capabilities here with the Column Explorer. we're going to ask the AI to go a couple levels deeper if we can. If you're curious about how do you get a data set from Hugging Face, this is the link to this particular data set. You can, they automatically generate Parquet files for every data set on Hugging Face. So you can click on the megabyte indicator of how big your files are. You can navigate to where the file is. And then they have this handy dandy, download icon that is very obscure, but you can grab the to download here from the download button, and that will let you just get that handy dandy URL to put right into a SQL statement. So this data set, let's see what it is. So how easy is it to figure out what's in this data set? Let's say, please give me an overview of the shipments data set.
Let's do it.
All right, we're using Opus 4.5 as one does. So now we have the first step here, and you might have an authentication step here. I'm already logged into MotherDuck, but it might prompt you to say, hey, please log in. You can log into MotherDuck through GitHub credentials, Google credentials, or a username and password, and you're connected. So what is happening here? The first thing is that it looked in the catalog and it said, hey, is there anything in the catalog about shipments? And it got back an answer that, hey, there is one table called shipments, and this is exactly where to go to find it. So found it first try. It understands what I mean when I say shipments. It connects it to my actual data. And then from there, it says, hey, what's inside? And it'll figure out all the different columns that are there, as well as the different data types that are there.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning here, Alex, that we've built tools that are designed for this type of workflow, right? So it hasn't written any SQL in those first two calls, right? Those are kind of API endpoints where it can take the search catalog just takes a generic term, says, hey, I need to find where shipments exists in your entire catalog. And so it does that in a very constrained manner, as instead of saying just like, hey, let's look through the entire database in a very naive way. It just says, here's a tool that will do this for you, which is very, very helpful.
You bet. And you saw it converged really, really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically found it immediately, which is great.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. And then from there is where it starts writing some SQL for us. And, as someone who's been a SQL jockey for many years and considers myself one still, this is pretty crazy that it is able to just start with a table and start writing a lot of queries on my behalf. And you can see what queries it's generating, which really puts me at ease as a SQL person. I can actually see exactly what's happening. So this is not a black box. This is a completely glass see-through box where it tells you exactly what SQL is running. So you can proofread it or understand it for your own use as well. So what's it look like? What did AI? What did Claude do when I asked it to just give me an overview? So it tells us how many order line items we have. So it already knows that it's a line item specific table. We've got 66,000 orders, 21,000 customers, and 118 products. And it looks like it's almost 2 years of data, from 2015 to 2017. And it's even able to detect kind of the domain of the data, that is e-commerce and it's supply chain oriented, which is pretty great. And it picked up that some of the columns are related to profitability, which I think we can explore as we go. Key findings. As Jacob was talking about with on-time delivery, the first thing it found is that 55% of shipments are late. That's pretty neat that it was able to look at a data set of shipments, automatically decide to look at things that were late or not, and then tell me how much is late. And 55% late strikes fear in my heart. Like I feel that deeply. Like 55% late, like, oh, I feel it. So thanks for looking at that for me. Now it's going to go even deeper though. It varies very dramatically by shipping mode. If you do first class, you're going to be, you got a 95% risk of being late, whereas standard is 38%. So it is actually jumping to a very interesting conclusion that says we are being very optimistic about what we can achieve on first class shipment. It says, hey, seems like you can't actually deliver it as fast as you are committing, which is very interesting. It looks at our different markets of what we're looking at. with Europe and Latin America leading in volume. Late delivery risk is remarkably consistent. This is kind of neat. I mean, how many queries did it run on my behalf? Like what, like 6 or 7? 8 different queries. You can tell this is a lot of layers of detail in just an overview, right? This had to figure out late delivery was a problem. Then it had to go say, okay, regions, that's probably of interest. Now, how does that metric of interest relate to that category of interest? It also breaks down our products. We got fishing, we got cleats, we got camping and hiking. And notably, computers has the highest profit per order, but very low volume. That tracks, makes sense. We've got our consumer segment. Fantastic. So there's a lot of meat here, and this is just our very first thing. And I asked it, hey, what should I look into next? And so it gave me a couple of ideas, and we can look at these or decide in another direction. The late delivery paradox. Why are premium shipping modes late all the time? It's very interesting. Payment method. Transfer payments show notably lower late delivery risk. Interesting. Now this is a shockingly interesting question here. Is this a real operational effect or a customer segment correlation? Claude is asking if it's correlation or causation. As a stats fan, that's pretty sweet. I'm impressed. Mentions fraud is something we could look into. We can look at profitability drivers, and then we can also do a deep dive on geography. Well, I think it'd be interesting to do a deep dive on late delivery a little bit, and then maybe.
I agree.
So, what do you think, Jacob? How would you dig into the next level of detail on the late delivery side?
My suspicion, okay, I have not looked at this data set yet, but my suspicion is that if your first class deliveries are always late, is probably that like you're upgrading people to first class once you get late already. So I would test that hypothesis, being like, is there anything, ask like, is there anything deeper around the first class deliveries? Like, what other patterns are in there? I think some of this also gets into like operational context, right? Which is like, I've definitely worked in companies where on the supply chain side, if product wasn't going to get into our warehouse on time, we're like, okay, that one can go air instead of, freight or whatever. And so I would be curious. My first instinct is actually that like people are getting upgraded to it, and it's like trying to save late delivery that might be within SLA on a short delivery, but like or on a longer delivery, but is not getting updated right. So
I'm going to ask what correlates with late deliveries as well.
Yeah.
Just to kind of seed it a little bit, with what.
Yeah.
What could be related. So let's see what it's looking at first. First things first. It's looking at our lateness here and late percentage, and it's grouping by shipment mode, and then days for shipments is sort of what we committed to, and then the reality. This is very revealing. Interesting. Well, can't wait to hear what you're thinking here, Claude.
One thing I've noticed, I don't know, Alex, one thing I've noticed is that Claude is very curious, which makes it a very nice analyst partner. Not all models are this curious, so you don't have to prompt it too much for it to kind of go look for something. But on the other hand, it means it can go a little bit off the rails in terms of the analysis. So it's a balance for sure.
Oh, that's you bet. That's explore versus exploit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Totally right.
Love it. So something that is, I think, very interesting, right, is as someone who's written a lot of SQL and used a lot of BI tools, part of the value of a BI tool is to really dig in and ask a lot of questions really, really fast. But
that's
you
right.
can see how many queries are being run here as well. And we're able to ask a lot of questions very, very quickly, much faster than we can write the SQL as well. But it's very open-ended. We're not building a dashboard that's, where we're linearly exploring something, or we are having to use some sort of pre-built asset to do our exploration. This is from scratch, where we can just kind of explore in all directions at the same time. And I can write SQL pretty fast. I can't write it this fast. But no matter how clickety clacky my keyboard is, which it's very clickety and very clackety.
Totally.
Let's see. So as that is thinking about our follow-up question around delivery, I am very interested in the profitability piece. Something that comes to mind from my days in supply chain is sometimes you are very sure that the expensive things are delivered on time, and the cheaper things, it's okay.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I want
Okay.
to see if
Okay.
there's a relationship between probability and delivery, just to get a sense. And then maybe anything else that correlates with profitability.
Oh, that's a good thing to look at. I love that. I love that thought. That's a good thought.
I just
a
know
lot of
that
pain. There's a lot of pain, I think, behind that insight.
I mean, trial by fire, Okay. So Claude has run something around 20 different queries on our behalf. Yeah, 21 queries. Now let's see what insight we can gain from our data after 1 or 2 minutes of wide open exploration. So this is Claude's defining the core problem as being unrealistic. So if we look at first class shipping mode, it is 100% late. The 5% that are showing as on time for first class are actually canceled orders. Wow. Okay, so we found an interesting nugget in our data set here.
That's amazing.
It's so that the only time it was on time is if it's canceled, but that's not really what we want, right? But the model was able to detect that's probably not what we want either, which is very impressive. Same day, pretty rough time. Second class is actually even worse. Very interesting. Let's see what else we found. First class is structurally broken. Yes, that sounds about right.
We do see that.
Yes, agreed that. Actual shipping times are remarkably consistent. The actual days don't vary by market, geography, product category, order size, customer segment, day of the week, or season. Wow. That's very insightful.
Someone's someone's plugging that number or something.
Seems like operationally things might be humming along.
Yeah.
And maybe we're committing to different levels for various business reasons.
Yeah.
It's even suggesting that the data might be flawed. Saying actual data might be rounded instead of real data. What else doesn't correlate? Payment method. Makes sense. Customer segment. Oh, interesting. Order values do not correlate. So we'll see if profitability correlates. But
interesting, yeah, because you asked that question about profitability earlier. Yeah.
Right. And this is the value of the order, but not necessarily the profitability.
Not necessarily, but hopefully they're sort of tied together.
Probably yes. Oh, it already checked days of the week or month. Interesting. Transfer payments. All cancellations are transfer payments. Okay, interesting. Found that those are correlated. There's some geographic variation. All right. I wanted to explore if a little bit more about the weekends and weekdays, because that's a very common shipping thing, right? Is if something goes out to ship on Friday, it might not get there till Monday. So I want to see if there's a correlation between what day of the week something ships on and to whether or not it's delayed. I feel like it probably took me about as long to type that out as it's going to take Claude to answer my question. Wild times.
Yeah. I mean, going down these little side quests, this is such a nice way to just explore and understand what the heck's happening here.
Oh, and look at this beautiful thing. I did not have to memorize the strip time syntax. It figured it out. It's extracting the day of the week. Oh man, I won't miss that a bit. I won't miss that a bit.
Not at all.
What other fun SQL syntax do I get to not have to deal with? Yeah, very, very fun. Okay, there's a small but real correlation, although it varies by shipping mode. Overall, very weak. 1% different. That's pretty weak. Yeah. However, first class.
Indeed.
It's a stronger one if it's a shorter delivery. That checks out logically. Like if I need to get there in a day, the weekend's going to impact me more.
Yep.
That's pretty sweet. Well, awesome. Well, that was a couple of things I was looking at. We can go down the profitability angle. What
I
would
think
you
so.
look for?
Yeah, I think I would ask. I think you're right. Like there's just ask about exactly. Yes. It's coming along.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. I like that it is able to explore so many different directions at the same time and then tell me what is not important really fast.
Yeah, get to know fast, right? It's looking at so many facets at once. Yeah, that's really interesting. Let's go, Claude.
Yeah, let's see. What is it running about? What about product level profitability? Interesting. So it's asking really the exact question. Are high margin
I like that it puts the thinking tokens into the comments in the sequel, so you can like see what it's doing.
Yeah,
that's
I like that.
That's great. That's a nice little affordance. I wish I did that.
Oh man, comments in SQL are worth their weight in gold, but they're never there.
No.
What's this CTE for? You know, it was important 2 years ago. Oh man.
Yep. Oh yeah, there was some weird thing in our ERP. It didn't mark the flag right. Yes. Did that bug get fixed?
That's right. Okay, late deliveries have slightly lower margins. That's what we would expect. So, profit margin, oh, it's pretty close. Interesting. The profit
it's not.
Yeah, it's all in the right direction, but it's very minor. Interesting. Margin gap is real but small. Although when you add it up, that's 83,000 in missing profit if you think about it in the reverse. So nothing. Let's see. Late orders have higher margins in some of these categories. Oh, it's giving me some other explanations. Product mix, shipping mode, or it might be the data is bad. Always good to leave that as an option on the table. Question everything.
No kidding.
Got it. Well, where should we explore next to see what we can do here?
I think asking if we're missing anything. Like, are we missing anything like else that we should look at? Like, I feel like we haven't really discovered anything super compelling about it, but there's got to be something in there.
I like that. And that makes me think of other uses for AI as well, like PR review or bouncing ideas back and forth is, what am I missing? It's an interesting way to tap into that.
Yep.
And there's also some latitude, longitude. I wonder if we could see if like the distance traveled is correlated.
That's interesting. Yeah, we could maybe definitely do like a spatial analysis.
Yeah.
I'm less adept at spatial, so this is where I really need to lean on the LLM.
Yes. Spatial is a whole subfield. It's wild. Let me just look at the column names one more time and just see if we have latitude and longitude for both things. So we have there's latitude and longitude, but I'm not sure if that's the origin or the destination. I think that might be the destination. don't think we have quite enough to look at total distance traveled. Oh, interesting. Let's see. So it did run a query with an error, and let's see if it was able to figure it out.
It doesn't. You can't drill on those. You can only mouse over to see the error.
Oh, must
Binder
appear in
error.
the group by clause. I also feel that very deeply.
Indeed.
I don't know if it should have used group by all.
I love that
So-
we just sent it off on like a 20 query chain, like with a pretty simple ask.
Yeah.
Like
You mentioned Claude was curious. You're not wrong.
yeah.
It is very curious. But that's much better than saying like, nope, everything looks great. Nothing to see here. Like, I love this.
Okay, let's see key findings.
Okay. So each payment type has specific statuses. Okay. Interesting. This is saying it seems like it could be synthetic. Interesting. All fraud
Curious.
is transfer. Interesting. Okay. 90% of orders we lose money on. That is worth asking questions about. And then there's a severe section, less than 100% negative margin. That's a big negative number.
Yeah, losing $300 per order.
All customers are in the US or Puerto Rico, but orders shipped to 100 countries.
What's going on here?
That's a US based retailer with global shipping.
Okay, there's more to look at there.
It seems like the company
Interesting.
might be based in the US or Puerto Rico, and then the customer's base is worldwide.
What kind of company has 30% of customers in Puerto Rico? I want to know. Like, there's got to be a very specific.
Yeah.
This is assuming this is a real data set that narrows down to like a very specific set of companies. I think
It must operate
Anyway.
out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, exactly.
Right down there.
Exactly. Totally.
First order experience doesn't predict retention. Now that is very interesting. Customers whose first order was late show nearly identical retention to those with on-time first orders.
Wow.
That is a very novel question to ask. Does a
Yeah.
late shipment lead to a customer churn?
Mhm,
What
mhm.
a great question that I wish I had asked about this data set. Very interesting. We're safe,
Incredible.
but that's pretty cool. No meaningful time trends. So we're not getting any better or any worse.
No.
Interesting. Okay, discounts don't drive losses.
Interesting.
And then the data structure itself. Okay. I'm not as worried about that because payment orders to order statuses, I can look at that and logically think, okay, that's probably fine.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it always gives me a couple of choices of what to investigate further. But as a person who's done a lot of data analysis, a lot of digging in a BI tool for insights, a lot of building
Mhm.
the content for a BI tool for insights,
Yeah.
this is pretty great.
Yeah, it's a good starting point for sure. Do we want to see if we can get a nice visual out of this?
I would love that. Yes.
Okay. All right. Just let's see if we can do like take this narrative and throw it into MViz or something. That's what I would do. I'm just going to link this for everyone who's following. It's a library I'm working on that is a chart library that's built just for using inside of Claude.
I have to do this one though.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
I've refined the prompt a little bit. It's you don't need to do that anymore. You don't need to tell it's Edward Tufte. Actually, it's interesting. I'll talk about it while it looks at the skill. Tufte basically assumes that the user generating the insight has all of the business context, and all of his principles are built around that notion. However, when you're using an LLM, the LLM does not generally have your business context. It has some of it if you've given it to it with Markdown or maybe some context generation. So telling it that it's an assistant that's designing to poke at the edges actually has led to a lot better analysis than saying you're Tufte. You should still use the Tufte visualization principles, of course, but you want it to be a little bit less certain in the way that it's like framing out all of these pieces. Does that make sense, Alex?
I think that tracks because I don't know if Tufty is as much used in exploration as in like deep understanding of something.
That's exactly, yeah, exactly. Because like once you found the insight, it's like, dude, be like, you're Tufty, like let's nail this narrative and structure, right? But before I found the insight, I'm just like poking around and like, having it drive me towards, you have a problem with late orders. Here's what to do about it. It's kind of like, okay, like relax. Like I can't, like I'm missing some context here. Like let's keep exploring before we start, getting to action. But it's really interesting. Okay, so it's building it. Sweet. What do we got here? Sweet. Oh, what do we have?
Like it. All right. The font is a little small, so let me.
I don't think it'll get bigger. It's kind of designed to be. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, and look, it's dynamic. It got a little. Okay.
Yeah, that's nice.
Anyways.
Okay. This is primarily a scheduling problem. Cool. 19% of orders are loss making.
Hey, we got a comment from YouTube. Can you make it a little bit bigger, Alex?
Yes. Thank
you. Go one more. Okay. Right. That's probably about as good as we can go, I think.
I can maybe do, something like that. Okay, great. Total revenue, total shipments, those are great high-level metrics. Makes sense. It does the late delivery breakdown by the various scheduled days, how first class is having a rough time.
And conditional formatting for us. How nice of it.
That is very nice. Wow, that's a lot of 100% late. Look at this. Having a rough time. Oh, man, that's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, late rate by shipping mode. Similar data there. Actual shipping days.
Oh. Okay, I think we know where this data set came from.
It seems like those are the choices, and maybe it got a little bit split apart there. All right. Well, that's an interesting telltale sign there. What doesn't affect it? Our market, our segment, order value. I like that it broke it down. It just told me in the text, oh, there's no
bucketed it. That's really nice.
Bucketed it. That's very clean. Oh, here's the days of the week. It's not a huge difference. Tuesdays.
Okay.
It's great days on Tuesday. Saturday.
Can you give it a note and just say copy that chart name? Do me a favor. We're going to show you a little trick.
This part here?
Yeah, and then just say change the Y minimum value to be more in line with this chart. Yeah, exactly. Great. What's really cool about this is that should be like a 2-line change, and it should just pop our analysis right in.
Wow, look at that. Just a couple lines.
Boop.
Okay.
There you go. You got it.
Wow.
There we go.
That is slick. I like that.
Yeah, I've kind of designed it around the notion of like kind of you're standing over the shoulder of an analyst once you get to this stage, and you're like, all right, change that thing, right?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Love that. Very cool. Got our margin. We have a little bit of a benefit there. Oh, we got a couple floating metrics around.
Yeah. I know what's going on there. I'll fix the bug. That's fine.
That's all right.
A little bug to fix.
Oh, that's all right. This is all exploratory. Okay, it's breaking down by category. Cleats and cardio equipment.
Interesting.
Fraud. We think transfers are all bad, huh? Bad news on the transfers. Okay. Recommendations. What is it? Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah, exactly. That's
really hard in shipping. Logistics
so hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Understand what's up with our profit ratio. Why are we losing 275% on some stuff? Oof. I love the idea of looking at that a little bit more.
Yeah, totally.
Nice. Well, that's a pretty clean report. And that's a lot of different queries that were used to build that.
Yeah, totally.
I didn't have to write any of that SQL. That is wild. That's wild.
It is wild. It is wild. Yeah, this is really cool. Well, we're a little over time here, Alex. Why don't we wrap up here? Anything you want to plug coming up?
Let's see. I would just stay tuned with what we're able to look at here. I think if AI and data have felt like they haven't overlapped to you, this was the unlock for me to see how they relate together. Where suddenly me as someone who like is a SQL expert, I now have a real reason to tap into AI to help me, whereas I didn't before. So let us know your feedback. We're iterating on this MCP very, very quickly, and let us know what you're able to figure out.
Amazing. I linked a couple things that I will share or that were linked earlier, but I'll just highlight. One of them is we've got an event that's I'll be doing a webinar on preparing your data sets for AI readiness, talking about what kind of things you can add to it to improve improve the results you're getting from LLMs. And we've got another MCP session this time next week for software developers. So if you're doing software development, we'd love to show you what's possible by integrating MCP for data analysis into your workflow. That's all I got. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. We're going to wrap up. And Alex, thanks for finding a fun data set. And we had a fun time exploring it. So we will chat with everybody later.
Yeah. Quack on and prosper.
All right. Bye.